In the third part, we have to explain why the egg is likely to break when dropped onto concrete from the same height. So we'll have to use the same impulse momentum theorem, the J is equal to force into time. Now, since we have to prove that the egg is likely to break when dropped onto concrete, which means the force which the concrete is providing to the egg is much larger than as compared to the ground. So how do we prove it? So the value of F delta t is equal to change in the momentum, which is equal to m final velocity minus initial velocity. Now, since the egg is supposed to come to rest after hitting the surface, so final velocity is zero. Let's write that down. And initial velocity is the velocity of the egg just before hitting the surface. And in the previous case, we had figured out the value of that v to be 4.64 meters per second. So V initial is 4.64. So if you analyze, the right side of this expression is a constant because m final velocity, initial velocity are all the same no matter what the surface is. It could be the ground or it could be concrete, but the initial velocity and the final velocity are the same. So the right side of this expression is a constant. So we can write F delta t is a constant for both cases, concrete as well as ground. Now, since F into delta t is a constant, we can write force is inversely proportional to time. Now, try to visualize when the egg hits a concrete surface versus a egg hits the ground. The time taken to come to rest will be greater in which case? See, concrete is a lot harder surface, so the egg will come to rest in a very short amount of time. So, we can write that the time taken in case of concrete, the time taken for the egg to come to rest when it hits the concrete will be much lesser than the time taken in case of the ground. So T concrete is less than time of the ground. Since force is inversely proportional to time, we can now deduce that the force in case of concrete will be greater than force in case of ground. So let me repeat. According to this deduction, the force which the egg experiences because of concrete, that will be much larger as compared to the force which is acting on the egg due to the ground. That is why when an egg hits a concrete surface, because the force is large, it is much likely to break in case of concrete as compared to the ground. And that's how we solve this question. Let me repeat what we have done. Initially, we proved that the right-hand side, which is delta P, is constant in both cases, concrete as well as the ground. Since the right-hand side is a constant, we can say force is inversely proportional to time. And that is the approach we use to solve this question.